Today our topic is for discussion is reading skill. Reading skill is like listening skill is one of the receptive skill of the communication skills, because all of we know that there are four skills of communication: listening, speaking, reading and writing. But reading and listening are receptive skills. So like listening, reading is also a receptive skill. In this skill you have only to focus on the understanding the written material, because communication is all of we know that communication is a two-way process. There must be two persons at least for communicating. First one is sender, sends a message, then receiver receives the message. From the viewpoint of listening, sender may be a speaker, okay, and receiver may be listener. And from the viewpoint of reading skill, sender may be writer, or receiver may be reader. So in this process of communication, from the viewpoint of reading skill, the sender is writer, because speaking and writing are predictive skills in which the speaker or writer produce his own thoughts or feelings or informations. And from the viewpoint of reading and listening, receiver may be listener or reader. But today we discuss about the reading skill. Then the receiver is reader, who reads the written material of the writer. So what's the meaning of reading? All of we read any written material or text or passages. So what's the meaning of reading? Reading is when you read with understanding any written material, then it's called a reading comprehension, or you can say that a reading skill. So reading with understanding, not only grasping the meaning of written material, but relation between the ideas, distinguish between the facts and opinions, analyzing and interpreting and evaluating the written material, and then responding. Then you can say that it's a reading skill or comprehension. So when you read any written material with understanding, then it is a reading skill or comprehension. The process of reading skill is same as listening, but somehow differ from listening skill. Like the first step of reading skill is decoding, then comprehending, then evaluating, then responding. It's a very interactive and complex process, because in decoding, in listening, you understand the message you in your own language, means change the coded language into information. The meaning is same here in reading skill, that the coded language is changed into information. But from the viewpoint of reading skill, in decoding, you have to find out the meaning of the written word, the significance of the written word according to the text, because sometimes the dictionary meaning is different and the text meaning of the word is different. So you have to understand the meaning according to the text. What's the meaning, what's the significance of the word in the decoding step of reading skill. Then comprehending. Comprehend means what? Comprehend means to understand. So understanding not only the words, not only the meanings of that word or the significance of that word, but the main theme, central theme of the written material or written text. There are a lot of written material or written text, so you have to understand the main theme, main central idea or main pattern of the written text, and you have to make relationship between the ideas of the written text or written passage. In evaluating a step, you analyzes the written text, and then evaluating, analyzing and critical reading of the written text. You correlate the ideas and the examples of the written text and differentiate between the facts and opinions. Like India is an agriculture country, that is a fact, and India is a great country, that is an opinion. So in evaluating, you have to find out the difference between the ideas and the opinion, and you have to avoid irrelevant information of the written text, and you have to grasp the relevant information of the written text. And evaluating, you do several steps of evaluating the written text, like critical analysis of the text. You have to analyze the whole passage, the whole text, make relation between the ideas and distinguish between the ideas and the opinion. Then after analyzing, after evaluating the written text, conclusions are drawn, inferences are drawn. Then you respond. Respond may be in written form or verbal. Like you read the email messages, then you respond of these messages or emails in the written form. Like in your syllabus, there is comprehension and precis writing. You read first the written passage or unseen passage, then you answer. So answering the question, that is included in the step of responding. Because effective communication is not successful if there is no one to respond. Because there must be two persons at least, one the sender and second is the receiver. And the receiver respond in his own way, so that the writer or the sender, or you can say speaker, can know that the receiver understand the message or no. So this is the process of reading skill. And if you improve your reading skill, because generally we read several kinds of written materials for the purpose of general, academic and professional purpose. So you may require reading skill to read different kinds of materials. Like for the purpose of general, generally you reading newspaper, magazines, story, novels, etc. for the general purpose. So you have need of general reading skill. And for the purpose of academic, you have, and you should very expert in reading skill. Because in academic, you have to read thesis, textbooks, journals, research paper, dissertations, lecture notes. So these you read for the purpose of academic. Like you, students, read the written material for the purpose of academic. And if you are in any profession or in any job, then you read the business proposals, business reports or business articles or notice, etc. for the purpose of profession. So these may be purpose for reading a written material or for reading the written text, general and academic and professional. I have already told you that you may require a specific reading skill to read different kinds of written material. So there are lot of methods which you adopt for reading any written material. Like first one is vocabulary method. Vocabulary method is what? When you read any written text or written material word to word, and you want to know the meaning of each word which is used in that written material, then it's called a vocabulary method. Like you do translation. You translate any language into another language. So you may require to read the first language and you should know about the meaning of each word. So this is called vocabulary method. Word to word reading. You should know the meaning of each and every word which is used in written material. Then eye reading, or you can say visual perception. It's also a method of reading skill. Eye reading and visual perceptions means generally you read newspaper, then what you do? Only do eye reading. The main focus of eye reading is to get the information of that written material. So eye reading or visual perception is a fastest method, is one of the fastest method of reading skill. Suppose you in comprehension in your syllabus, you answer the unseen passage. So the first step of comprehension is to read the passage hurriedly but carefully or attentively. So what's the meaning of this step? This is the eye reading. Read the written material very fastly but carefully and attentively. Not read the passage word to word. It's not necessary that you should know the meaning of each word which is used in written text. You can read the written text in word groups. So this is eye reading or visual perception method. And this method avoids the vocalization. Means some students read the passage loudly. So this should be avoided in this method. And third one is prediction technique or method. It's also one of the fastest method or rapid reading, because in this method you divide the written passage into headings or subheadings, or if it is possible to draw a chart or diagram or maps, then these techniques are used in this method, prediction methods. Like especially in science subject, you divided the written material in headings and subheadings and draw charts and graphs. So this is very useful method for memorizing the any information, because it's like a record for you. It's also very beneficial in your note making. If you are making notes and you adopt the method of prediction method, then you divide the whole material into headings and subheadings. It is possible then draw graphics or charts or maps, etc. So it's very, very effective and very, very useful from the viewpoint of reading or record of information. And fourth one is scanning method. As you know that the meaning of scan is to copy the information. So same thing is here. Suppose you want to increase your GS and you read GS books, then you can't change the language or the facts of the written text. Only copy the information, only note the information, only receives the information. So this is the scanning method because the main focus of this method is to locate specific information. And it's very, very beneficial, especially in the technical and scientific field, because it is one of the fastest method. In this method, you only read the passage, and it's not necessary that you should know the meaning of each and every idea of which is used in written text. So this is very fastest method. And fifth one is skimming method. Skimming method is one of the famous or fastest method of reading skill. In this method, the main focus is on the central theme of the passage. What's the purpose of the passage or written text, and what's the sequence of the written text. Suppose easy to tough, tough to easy, specific to general, or general to specific, less important to important, and important to less important. So you should have to focus on the central theme or central idea or the main purpose of the written text. Suppose what's the message the text wants to convey, and what the text wants to say. So you should know about the main theme or central idea of the written text. So the main focus of skimming method is on central theme of the written material and the sequence and the main intention of the author, what method the author adopt for writing this passage. It may be descriptive, illustrative, narrative. So you should know about all these things. And sixth is intensive reading skill. Intensive reading skill, or you can say method, because it's also a skill as well as a method, because reading has two types of skills, like intensive reading and extensive reading. Intensive, like listening, active or passive listening, and reading, there are two types of reading, intensive and extensive. Intensive, if you read the written material thoroughly, deeply, then it is intensive reading, and you correlate your own information with the information of the written text, and you use your own background knowledge to understand the message of the written text, and you pay attention to the central idea or theme or supporting details of the written material, then it is intensive method, which is also a method as well as skill. In extensive reading, you only focus on either the content or the style of the written text. So if you read only to get information or surface level, then it is extensive reading. And if you read thoroughly each and everything of the written text, then it is intensive reading method, or you can say skill. So in intensive reading skill or intensive reading method, you have to focus on the intention of the author, the attitude of the author, the central idea of the text, the pattern of the text, the style of the text, all the aspects of the written text included in this reading skill, because it's a very detailed reading, or you can say critical or analytic reading. Under this category, you correlate the ideas and opinion in this method and distinguish between the facts and opinions of the written text, irrelevant and relevant meaning of the written text, and explicit or implicit meaning of the written text. So it's a very, very detailed method of reading skills. At last, I want to ask to you that all of we read. So what's the need of reading? Why we read? What's the importance of reading? So we can say that to get an introductory idea of the written text, we read. To update our knowledge, to update our information, we read. To improve our understanding ability, we read. To correlate our background knowledge with the current knowledge, we read. So there are lot of importance of reading. See, as Bacon has said, reading makes a full man, conference a ready man, and writing makes an exact or a perfect man. So becoming perfect or expert man, the process is start from reading, because reading makes a full man. So reading is very, very beneficial in all the fields, because self-study is what? If you have the habit of reading, then this is based on self-study is based on reading habit. So I think reading skill is not less important than speaking or writing. So listening and reading, instead of receptive skill, are equally important to speaking and writing. So you should have the habit of reading. And the reading skill means to understand. So there are a lot of topics in your syllabus which you can relate with the reading. So the topic is finished.